Coming up, learn about the opportunities at the Job and Internship Fair happening today at the IMU. And later, the university opened their 10-year sustainability plan for public comment.
The Hawkeye baseball team had their first series of the season this weekend. I'll break down how they did in sports.
I have some pretty good news in regards to temperatures. Could spring be on its way? Stay tuned for what you can expect in this week's upcoming weather.
All that and more coming up on this Wednesday morning edition of DITV News. Don't go anywhere, DITV starts right now. Good morning and thank you for tuning in. I'm Emily Callahan. The Spring Job and Internship Fair will be held on campus later today. DITV reporter Bryn Ocone has some tips on what students can expect and how they can do their best. Bryn, over to you.
This afternoon, the Pomerantz Career Center will be hosting a job and internship fair at the Iowa Memorial Union. This fair will feature over 160 employers looking to fill jobs and internship spots by Iowa students. These employers will be stationed around the main lounge and the second floor ballroom of the IMU. Students are recommended to come dressed professionally and equipped with multiple copies of their resume to hand out to prospective employers. Download the Career Fair app to get a map of the fair and the Handshake app to see what employees will be present. The fair will take place from 11 to 3 p.m. today. Check out the Pomerantz Center's website for more information. And for DITV News, I'm Bryn Ocone.
Thanks, Bryn. The University Sustainability Goals Subcommittee has began drafting their 2030 sustainability goals. During yesterday's meeting, the subcommittee gave a presentation on their plan, giving students, faculty, and staff the chance to weigh in and make suggestions, as well as have an open discussion with those in attendance. The draft includes plans to cut down on emissions, increase education on sustainability, and develop outreach programs for the community, as well as more important topics. Now until March 15th, the subcommittee is holding an open comment period on this draft for many departments and organizations on campus. Keep an eye out for information regarding open forums for students and check out the Office of Sustainability and the Environment's website for calendar details on the progress of these goals. Now, while the university might be talking about the environment for the next 10 years, I want to hear about the environment over the next week. Olivia has more for us in the weather studio.
Thanks, Emily. We're definitely up for a fluctuant week temperature-wise. This morning we'll start our day with a brisk high of 7 degrees and some partly cloudy skies. Later in the evening, we can plan to see a high of 15 degrees and also some cloudy skies. For our weekly forecast, we can expect to see some pretty drastic changes coming our way. Thursday, we'll have sunshine with a cold high of 15 degrees. And on Friday, we can anticipate temperatures to rise up to a high of 35 with some sunny skies to join, leading up to a weekend in the low 40s with a 20% chance of rain on Sunday. Even though it's going to be a drastic weather change, I'm pretty excited to be seeing some sunshine and temperatures in the 40s. Let's cross our fingers or knock on wood to hope that these temperatures stay. Back to you, Emily.
Thanks, Olivia. The University of Iowa has 16 undergraduate students from Hong Kong, all of whom traveled home for their winter break to participate in pro-democracy protests and face the risk of being arrested. Recent peaceful and violent protests have broken out in Hong Kong to object to China's reach into the city's governmental system. Pressures between protesters and the Hong Kong government have only increased since June 2019. Police have resorted to using tear gas and live rounds while more than 7,000 protesters have been arrested. UI Assistant Professor of History and Modern China, Matthew Nollert, discussed how these political views of the Chinese government are divided among generations in Hong Kong. Nollert said, quote, "And so that creates a lot of confusion because for Hong Kong, these young people, they talk about restoring Hong Kong, but for older generations, restoring Hong Kong is restoring it to colonial rule, basically, which for a lot of people seems crazy," end quote. While protests continue, UI students have chosen to return to the US to continue their studies. Now, Iowa City Council held a community forum to hear from concerned members of the community before voting on the proposal of a pair of apartment towers at 12 East Court Street. The new apartment high-rises are seeking approval for two 15-story towers, the maximum height of the development area, where Pendergrass Garden apartments currently sit. Although this would offer more housing, students and community members who were worried about the affordability of the new housing were able to voice their concerns at Tuesday's public hearing. But now let's hear a little bit more about Hawkeye Sports. Tiana has more for us in the sports studio.
The Hawks came out swinging this weekend in their series in Port Charlotte, Florida, winning 2 out of the 3 games. Redshirt sophomore and starting pitcher Jack Dyer led the Hawks to a 3-1 victory over Kent State in their season opener, striking out 8 in just 5 innings. In their second game against St. Joseph's University, senior Ben Norman stepped up to the plate, getting 4 hits and on base 5 times to roll to the Hawks to a 7-2 victory. But Pittsburgh was finally able to get the best of the Hawks in their final game of the series, one that saw 5 lead changes and 2 ties. Pittsburgh scored 5 runs with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th to put the Hawks down 8-10. The team is back in action again this weekend for the Tony Gwynn Legacy Tournament in San Diego, California. While baseball is just kicking off, Iowa wrestling has just 3 meets left. Senior Day on Sunday, the Big Ten Championships, and then the main event, the NCAA Tournament. 2 of these events are a lot more significant than this upcoming duel against Oklahoma State. If you're familiar with Tom Brands, you know he's focused on the now. But this time it might be a little more important because the Cowboys got the best of the Hawkeyes last year.
They beat us up in Stillwater, and it's not lost on, I don't think, many people upstairs, if any. So we'll be getting ready for 10 matches. I guess training is how much time there is from event to event. So, we don't go till Sunday on this one, Sunday night. So, we've been able to, kick it into gear a little bit earlier this week. And when we hit Sunday, we'll be ready to go.
Brands mentioned that they've been able to train a little harder this week, and one guy in particular might be going the extra mile. Spencer Lee is looking to get his revenge after getting pinned last year by Nick Piccinini, and he says he's ready to go.
I mean, it was a match where I got beat. That was the end of the day. I mean, when you lose, you got to find a way to improve, and then you got to improve upon it. That's it. I mean, it wasn't a national finals. It wasn't Big Ten finals. It wasn't Olympic trials. It wasn't really an important match. I mean, it was the most important match that day because that was the next best thing, right? Like we're always going to say and harp on. But at the end of the day, I mean, I guess people can remember it and keep it in their hearts forever. I don't care. It's over, and we had to move on to the next best thing.
Lee did not let that loss last year get to his head. He went on to his second NCAA double championship in as many seasons, and a lot of people expect him to do the same this year. The Hawks take on Oklahoma State for senior night this Sunday at 7 p.m. in Carver Hawkeye Arena. The Hawkeye track team was split up into 3 different states this weekend, but it didn't stop them from setting 15 personal bests and claiming 2 titles. The throws team competed at the Texas Tech Shootout, where they set 2 personal bests and won a title, with senior Launga Tasaga winning the shot put with a mark of 17.34 meters. At the Iowa State Classic in Ames, the Hawks set 5 personal bests, and Mallory King placed 3rd in the 800 meters with a time of 2 minutes and 5 seconds. And 8 career bests came out of the Tyson Invite, with Jamal Britt leading the 200 meters at 21.68 seconds. The Hawks' next meet is on Friday at the Alex Wilson Invite in South Bend, Indiana. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for a preview of the men's basketball game as they gear up to play Ohio State on Thursday. Emily, back to you.
Thanks, Tiana. That game against the Buckeyes should be pretty exciting. Now, a 6-year-old dog from New York has mastered the art of fetch, and not with just 1 tennis ball or even 2. Finley, the golden retriever, can fit 6 tennis balls in his mouth at one time. Finley has become a viral hit with over 30,000 Instagram followers and even has a chance at the Guinness World Record. Finley's owners have applied for him to be in the record book, breaking the previous record set back in 2003 by a dog who could carry just 5 tennis balls at once. Now Finley and his owners are waiting patiently for a response. I mean, don't we all wish we had a dog quite as impressive as that, especially here on campus? But that's all we've got for you today on this Wednesday morning edition of DITV News. Be sure to head over to thedailyiowan.com for all your latest news between Monday and Friday. If that isn't enough of the Daily Iowan for you, be sure to check out our print edition of the news on Stands Now. For DITV News, I'm Emily Callahan. Have a great day, Iowa City.